involved. Earlier this year, 100 bullets were fired into Young Dolph's SUV, and 3 months later, police have pinned Memphis rapper Blac Youngsta for his alleged involvement. Authorities have revealed that the van used to shoot up Dolph's bulletproof SUV in February was rented by Youngsta, whose associates later turned themselves over to the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office, where they were then charged with 6 counts each of discharging a weapon into occupied property and felony conspiracy.
You need to hear this because this story isn't just about rap drama or a career slowing down. This is about a man who kept making the worst choices at the exact moments that could have changed everything. Then one day, he was left standing in the middle of the damage, trying to figure out how it all crashed so hard. We're talking about Blac Youngsta, Sammy Benson, straight out of South Memphis. This was somebody who started with almost nothing, fought his way out of rough situations, made millions, built a label, and had his whole city backing him at one point. Then suddenly, it felt like everything started falling apart right in front of everybody. But what makes this story hit different isn't some regular rapper fell off situation. This goes way deeper than music numbers dropping or a weak project rollout. It's connected to loyalty, street politics, and violence that shook Memphis for years. People around him kept noticing warning signs piling up, but somehow he still moved straight toward the chaos instead of away from it. That's the wild part people can't stop talking about. Let me explain this clearly, because the real story around Blac Youngsta is something blogs and commentators have danced around for a long time. Now everything's getting laid out piece by piece. To understand how things reached this point, you gotta go back to the beginning.
Several months ago in North Carolina, Young Dolph's SUV was shot at 100 times, but he wasn't in it. Witnesses heard the shots here in Hollywood, and nearby security video captured a person running from an SUV.
South Memphis, one of the toughest and most overlooked areas in America. This is the kind of place that rarely gets attention for success stories. Most headlines only show up when tragedy happens. Sammy Benson grew up surrounded by that environment, with no rich family, no music industry shortcuts, and nobody famous opening doors for him. All he had was hustle, survival instincts, and a voice packed with grit, pressure, and big dreams. He started putting out music back in 2012, dropping his first mixtape, Fast Bricks, then Fast Bricks 2, and Fast Bricks 3 right after that. There was no major label backing him, no big celebrity cosign, just non-stop grinding the way Memphis artists are known for. He kept flooding the streets with mixtapes, pushing his name harder every single year until eventually somebody important noticed him.
There was a very vicious diss song where Dolph was dissing Gotti's brother, Big Jerk, who obviously has become a big part of this.
The facts is just, I'm the biggest rapper from Memphis. You know what I mean? I help a lot of rappers from Memphis.
And that moment changed everything. In 2015, Youngsta released a track called Heavy. If you've never heard it before, go check it out because that record came with serious energy. The beat was aggressive, the delivery felt raw, and the whole song sounded like late-night Memphis streets packed into 3 minutes. It had the kind of vibe that instantly made people stop and pay attention. One of those people was Gotti. The second Gotti heard Heavy, he reportedly reached out fast. Not long after that, Blac Youngsta signed to Collective Music Group, better known as CMG, one of the biggest rap labels coming out of Memphis at the time. Just like that, he went from independent street hustle to standing beside one of the city's biggest rap figures. That's the type of come-up artists dream about, and Youngsta moved full speed with it. He dropped projects like I Swear to God in 2015, Baby Jesus in 2016, and records like Shake Some. The work ethic was non-stop. He stayed consistent, stayed visible, and fans connected with him because he sounded real instead of manufactured. He never tried to act polished or fake for the industry. He represented South Memphis openly, and the city showed love right back to him. By 2017, he launched his own imprint called Heavy Camp under the CMG umbrella. At that point, everything looked lined up perfectly. He was building connections, stacking money, expanding his brand, and locking himself into one of the strongest label systems in rap. From the outside looking in, it seemed like his future was only getting bigger and brighter. But while Youngsta's career was taking off, tension was building across Memphis too. Serious street conflicts were starting to grow louder, and whether he planned for it or not, Blac Youngsta was slowly getting pulled into the center of it all. Before long, people started seeing him as one of the main faces connected to one side of that divide. Now this is where the story takes a serious turn, because without understanding this feud, nothing that happened later makes sense. Around 2014, another Memphis rapper, Young Dolph, was becoming impossible to ignore. Born Adolph Thornton Jr. in Chicago but raised in Memphis, Dolph built his career completely on his own terms. No major label machine, no industry hand-holding, just his own movement called Paper Route Empire pushing full force. At one point, Yo Gotti reportedly tried to sign Dolph, but Dolph turned the offer down. That decision created tension immediately, even if people didn't fully realize it at the time.
Rapper Young Dolph was shot and killed at a bakery today. Young Dolph, whose real name is Adolph Robert Thornton Jr., was reportedly buying cookies at this bakery in his hometown when someone drove up and shot him. He was expected to give out turkeys for Thanksgiving on Friday. A county commissioner called his death gut-wrenching.
What started as competition slowly turned personal, and over the years, that pressure kept building into something much bigger than music. Then 2016 arrived, and Dolph dropped his debut studio album titled King of Memphis. On paper, that might sound like a regular rap title, but in Memphis, claiming that crown carried real weight. To many people around Gotti's circle, it came across like a direct challenge. It was almost like Dolph was publicly questioning who really held power and influence in the city. Folks around Memphis definitely noticed the message behind that title. That's when Blac Youngsta jumped directly into the situation. On March 2nd, 2016, Youngsta posted a video online going right at Young Dolph. He criticized Dolph's image, questioned his reputation, and even challenged whether people should view him as truly connected to Memphis culture. But things didn't stop online. Youngsta reportedly showed up in Dolph's neighborhood in South Memphis with people around him, recording videos and making the moment highly public. That instantly pushed the tension to another level because now it wasn't just songs and social media anymore. The energy surrounding the feud started feeling much more serious and unpredictable. Not long after that, Youngsta released the diss track, Shake Some. The record came with aggressive lyrics, heavy energy, and direct shots aimed at Dolph's attack.
Bro, they didn't kill Young Dolph, bro. What the f? Bro, ain't no way these folks just killed Dolph. Ain't no way these folks just straight came and ran down on Dolph. I figured it. That's what I'm saying. Bro, no. These folks just straight kill Young Dolph.
Dolph fans were paying attention because the music sounded intense, but at the same time, the conflict between both sides was growing hotter by the day. What could have stayed regular rap competition was now becoming something far more dangerous for everybody involved. Then came February 2017, and that's when everything got way more serious. Young Dolph was out in Charlotte, North Carolina, for a performance tied to a college basketball event. What should have been a normal stop during a busy weekend suddenly turned into chaos on February 25th. While Dolph was sitting inside his vehicle, gunfire erupted and more than 100 rounds were reportedly fired at the car. The situation shocked people everywhere because the attack was so extreme. The only reason Dolph survived was because the vehicle was armored and bulletproof. If not for that protection, the outcome could have been completely different. After the shooting, Blac Youngsta and 2 other men were arrested in connection to the incident. The charges were extremely serious, including multiple felony counts tied to discharging a weapon into occupied property, along with conspiracy allegations. People across the rap world were watching closely because this wasn't internet drama anymore. This was a major criminal case with huge consequences attached to it. But then the story took another turn. Prosecutors later dropped the charges against Youngsta after authorities said there wasn't enough evidence placing him inside the vehicle involved in the shooting. Youngsta also reportedly had an alibi and said he was in Durham at the time everything happened. Eventually, the case fell apart. Youngsta walked free, and Dolph survived the attack. Even after the legal case faded, the tension between both sides never truly disappeared. What happened that night left a deep mark on everybody connected to the situation. Dolph kept growing his brand, stayed independent, and continued building Paper Route Empire exactly how he always planned. Meanwhile, Youngsta stayed loyal to CMG, stayed active in the streets and music scene, and kept carrying himself like somebody ready for pressure at all times. The energy between them never fully cooled off. Even when the music slowed down, people in Memphis could still feel that unresolved tension hanging in the air. Folks close to the culture knew this situation wasn't completely behind them, no matter how quiet things looked on the outside. Then November 17th, 2021 arrived, and everything changed forever. Around 1:05 p.m., Young Dolph pulled up to Makita's Cookies in Memphis, a bakery he supported in his own neighborhood because he believed in giving back to the community that helped raise him. Nobody knew that moment was about to become one of the darkest days Memphis rap had ever seen. Young Dolph was doing what people said he always did, moving around his city, showing love to local businesses, and staying connected to the community that raised him. Then everything turned tragic in seconds. Two men reportedly walked into the bakery and opened fire. Adolph Thornton Jr., known to the world as Young Dolph, lost his life that day at just 36 years old. The loss hit hard across hip-hop and especially in Memphis. Dolph left behind his partner, his family, and a legacy that many fans and artists respected deeply. To a lot of people, he represented independence, ownership, and staying true to yourself without depending on the music industry to validate you. That's why the reaction was so massive when the news broke. Social media exploded almost instantly. Artists, fans, DJs, and public figures from everywhere started posting tributes and memories about Dolph. Memphis went into mourning, and the atmosphere around the city reportedly felt heavy for weeks. This wasn't just about losing another rapper. For many people, it felt like the loss of somebody who stood for loyalty, hustle, and building something on your own terms. Now this is where attention started shifting toward Blac Youngsta. At first, he stayed quiet after the tragedy, and people noticed the silence immediately. But only a few days later, things became even more controversial. During a concert performance in Dallas, Youngsta performed Shake Some, the same diss track connected to his long-running issues with Dolph. The internet reacted instantly and the backlash spread everywhere. Even people who understood the history between the two sides felt the timing looked terrible. Online conversations got heated fast because many fans believed performing that song so soon after Dolph's death crossed the line. The criticism wasn't just coming from random commenters either. People throughout hip-hop culture were debating it heavily. For a lot of observers, the situation damaged Youngsta's public image in a major way. What may have once looked like rap rivalry now carried a completely different weight after such a tragic loss. The conversation around him started changing fast, and people began looking at his actions through a much harsher lens than before. To a lot of people watching, it didn't look like loyalty at all. The reaction online was intense because many felt the situation was turning into something far more disturbing. But the controversy didn't end there. Soon after, Youngsta released a song called I'm Assuming, and the music video immediately sparked even more outrage. In the video, Youngsta is seen walking through a cemetery before stopping near a gravestone. The name shown on the stone read Thornton, which is Young Dolph's last name. That moment instantly caught people's attention, and social media lit up fast. Critics, fans, bloggers, and artists across hip-hop started debating the meaning behind it almost immediately. The backlash was massive. Online narratives spread everywhere, with many people accusing Youngsta of disrespecting someone who had already lost their life. Whether that was truly his intention or not, public opinion had already formed. Once people on the internet lock into a narrative, it moves fast. And in this case, the criticism came from every direction. Youngsta later responded on Instagram and spoke about growing up in South Memphis, saying he came from an environment where showing sympathy wasn't common. He also made it clear he wasn't interested in changing himself just to satisfy public expectations. Some people respected the fact that he stayed unapologetic and refused to put on a fake image for the cameras. But at the same time, others felt there's a major difference between staying authentic and pushing situations too far. For many observers, this became one of the moments where Youngsta's public image started taking serious damage. The conversation around him shifted from controversial rapper to somebody constantly surrounded by negativity and tension. Then another rumor started spreading everywhere. Reports claimed Yo Gotti had quietly removed Youngsta from CMG behind the scenes. Blogs ran wild with the story. Social media amplified it nonstop, and suddenly people were saying even his own label didn't want to stand beside him anymore. Eventually, Yo Gotti responded publicly and called the rumors fake news. He said Youngsta was still part of the movement and made it clear he hadn't been dropped. Youngsta even appeared on CMG's Gangsta Art project in 2022, proving the business relationship was still active. Still, despite those public statements, many fans felt the energy around him had changed permanently. Even if Blac Youngsta was technically still signed to CMG on paper, people could tell the vibe around him wasn't the same anymore. The support had weakened, the momentum slowed down, and a lot of the goodwill he once had with fans seemed gone. Around that time, people also started looking deeper into the connections surrounding the Young Dolph case, trying to understand how everything became so serious. As investigators continued building the case over the following years, authorities charged 3 men in connection with Young Dolph's murder: Cornelius Smith Jr., Justin Johnson, and Hernandez Govan. Out of those names, Govans drew major attention because of his reported ties to circles connected to CMG. People online immediately started discussing those links and what they could potentially mean. According to courtroom testimony and public reporting, prosecutors allege that Hernandez-Govan played a role in organizing the attack. During the proceedings, another major name also surfaced, Anthony Big Jook Mims, who was known publicly as Yo Gotti's brother. Once that information became part of the case, the entire hip-hop world started paying even closer attention because now the conversation had moved far beyond ordinary rap rivalry. Prosecutors presented the argument that the tension between CMG and Young Dolph's Paper Route empire wasn't simply about music competition anymore. Investigators suggested there were deeper personal and street-related conflicts connected to the situation. The allegations shocked a lot of fans because people had watched this feud build publicly for years without realizing how dangerous things could allegedly become behind the scenes. Then in September 2024, the case grabbed headlines again when Cornelius Smith Jr. reportedly testified in court about the events surrounding Dolph's death. According to public reports about the testimony, Smith claimed there had been a financial reward connected to the attack and described allegations involving surveillance of Dolph's movements before the shooting happened. Those courtroom details sent another wave of reactions across social media and hip-hop culture because the case suddenly felt even heavier than before. At that point, many people started revisiting old interviews, old songs, and old online moments involving everyone connected to the feud. The deeper the trial went, the more the public conversation around CMG, Paper Route Empire, and Memphis rap history kept growing louder. During the trial, Cornelius Smith Jr. reportedly testified that they finally caught Young Dolph at the cookie shop and opened fire. In court, he allegedly said, "I wasn't feeling nothing at the time. I was just trying to get some money." That statement hit people hard because it reduced a massive loss to money and violence.
Plead adjourned. Find the defendant guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder as charged in count 1 of the indictment. As to the first-degree murder, I sentence you to life in prison.
According to testimony, the alleged payout connected to the case was split between multiple people. Meanwhile, the victim was somebody who built his entire reputation on independence, ownership, and staying outside of industry control. Yet tragedy still reached him in the end. In September 2024, Justin Johnson was found guilty on all counts and sentenced to life in prison. Then in 2025, Hernandez-Govan went to trial and was ultimately acquitted, a verdict that shocked a lot of people in Memphis and sparked major debate across hip-hop culture. Reactions were everywhere because the case had already become one of the most talked about stories in modern rap history. Now here's the part people still argue about nonstop. Where exactly does Blac Youngsta fit into all of this? To be completely clear, Youngsta was never charged in connection to Young Dolph's 2021 murder. Authorities charged Hernandez-Govan, while Johnson and Smith were identified as the shooters in court proceedings. There has never been a murder indictment against Youngsta, and that distinction matters. But public opinion and street conversations don't always follow courtroom outcomes. A lot of people focused on the history surrounding the feud, the diss tracks, the online tension, the Charlotte shooting case, and Youngsta's highly visible role during the years-long conflict between CMG and Dolph's side. Because of that history, many people ended up connecting his name to the overall situation, whether directly proven or not. Folks weren't only debating who committed the crime, they were also discussing the atmosphere surrounding the feud and how years of hostility may have contributed to tensions growing out of control. That conversation kept Blac Youngsta's name circulating heavily online, especially as more courtroom testimony became public. But while all of that pressure was building around him publicly, tragedy also struck Youngsta's personal life. On August 18, 2023, a man was fatally shot at a BP gas station on South Parkway East in Memphis. Reports later confirmed the victim was Youngsta's brother. The news sent shockwaves through his circle and added another painful chapter to an already heavy story. No matter how tough somebody appears online or in music, losing a family member changes everything. Pain like that cuts deeper than rap beef, deeper than internet drama, and deeper than reputation. And sadly, this wasn't even the first sibling Youngsta had reportedly lost to violence connected to Memphis streets. That's what makes this entire story so tragic. What started as music competition slowly turned into years of tension, loss, controversy, and heartbreak that affected multiple families and an entire city. Careers changed, lives were destroyed, and Memphis hip-hop will probably carry the weight of this era for a very long time. If you made it this far, drop your thoughts in the comments because this story still has people divided everywhere. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video so more people can join the conversation. Stay tuned for more deep dives and breakdowns coming soon.